I am Patty Rose. We are back on the road again with the Kershaw County Current podcast. We're very excited today to be meeting with Dr. Harrison Goodwin. He is the Superintendent of the Kershaw County School District. Dr. Goodwin, good morning and thank you for having us.
Good morning. Glad we were able to spend some time.
Me too. The start of school is coming up very, very quickly. Earlier than I'm used to. My kids are in their 20s, so it's a different school calendar. So we wanted to just talk with you about back to school and all the fun stuff going on. You and I were just having a conversation about how that school calendar has changed over the years. And so the kids start back when?
We start back on July the 30th. That's a Thursday start, which is preferred by most of our teachers. Gives them the opportunity to have 2 days to get things in sync and then come back Monday and hit the ground really running. We had the much earlier start. This year it's a little bit earlier because of the quirk of the calendar. It'll ease back a little bit next year, more toward the 1st of August. But this is the calendar that's preferred by most school districts in the state now, and we surveyed our constituents, I think it was 3 years ago, and overwhelmingly, wanting to stay with this calendar.
Well, and I know from when my kids were in school, there were such long stretches with no real break. And so I've heard and gotten feedback from parents and educators that this is really a good way to structure the school year. And it gives kids and teachers and parents breaks throughout the year as opposed to this big long stretch during the summer.
Yeah, first semester has a long stretch if you don't do the October fall break. It's a pretty push, from the beginning of the year to Thanksgiving. Then likewise in second semester, when you come back in January, you used to have, if you had a late spring break into say the second week in April, that was really a hard push with no real breaks. And we do those long weekends during February and March each year. So that really seems to help people. And then it helps with retention because we don't have quite as long of a summer. Instead of a 10 or 11 week summer, now we have a 9 week summer is what we shoot for. Can go into 8, but that gives kids plenty of time to do all the activities, camps, those kinds of things.
Go to the beach.
But then it also, you get to that spot where, well, we've been out of school long enough, we're bored now. Now they can get back in and get things going.
I can definitely relate to that statement because I know when my kids are in their 20s now, but when we got those last few weeks of summer, if I heard I'm bored one more time, I don't know what else I would do. Well, is there any message or what message would you like to share with families as we head back to school at the end of July?
Well, I think the biggest message is we're excited for our students to get back. We wrapped up our summer programs last week. Now we're moving into the time where everything is all out prep for next year. And we're excited to have our students back. We have a number of new faculty members that will be with us and other support staff. We're getting them onboarded. And this is just a real positive time of the year in a school district as you get excited about the opening.
It's always fun. I always had fun, loved going back to school. It's one of my favorite times of the year. What are the district's top priorities for the 26-27 school year? And then how do those priorities build on progress made last year?
Well, the priorities really are a carryover from the last 2 years. You may know that the state implemented new ELA and math standards the last 2 years and new high-quality instructional materials, what we used to call textbooks.
In the olden days.
Yeah, in the old days. But there are, it's more than just textbooks now. But, teachers really have worked hard to implement all of these new resources and the new standards. And what we want to do is build on the success that we've had. We are really taking a view of trying not to add more things to our staff. They've been worked really hard. They're doing a great job. And, as the saying goes, well, it's just one more thing. The problem is there's been 25 years of just one more thing.
Right.
And we're trying to take a pause from that, and we're actually trying to take away a few things.
Well, and I know that helps them be able to focus on the number one goal of instruction and making sure students are being taught and then understanding and growing through whatever school year they're in that year. Are there any new programs, initiatives, technology upgrades, facility improvements that students and parents can expect to see?
Some of them may not be seen as obvious, but we upgrade technology every year. We have it on a rolling cycle so that we don't have to do it all at once. So we have a number of student devices that will be upgraded this year, a number of staff devices that will be upgraded. Along with that, we've really made investments in our safety and security, access controls expansion for our schools so that, teacher takes the students out on the playground. The temptation there is to put something in the door to block the door open.
Right.
Which then leaves us exposed. Putting the access controls so that they can use their key fob to come and go as they need to in strategic locations. Also with that, we cycle our camera systems also. And this year is a big year of doing that. And then the biggest thing is sort of unseen, but we've got a very large HVAC project going on. We're hitting more square footage at 3 of our schools, Camden Middle, Lugoff-Elgin Middle, and Blaney. It's hard to believe that Camden Middle and Lugoff-Elgin Middle are at the point that it's time to replace all of those HVAC units. People go, well, those are new schools.
I know. I still think of that as a new school, but it's not anymore.
Those are not new schools, and that equipment is not new. So, but a lot of that work goes on in the off hours. It's going on during the summer, but a lot of that will go on during the off hours when students aren't in session. But we'll continue to push all the way through Christmas on those big projects. And then the other things are what we refer to as heavy maintenance. We had some carpeted classrooms in the district. Carpet's really not the way to go now. We've been pulling a lot of carpet and going back with tile. It's kind of a health issue, air quality issue, and plus they're just worn out. After 20, 25 years, carpets just wear out. So we've got a lot of what we call heavy maintenance projects, a lot of painting projects going on. And so a lot of what we're doing is not really seen, but it's critical to what we do.
Very important things, especially with the temperatures this week. You definitely want the HVAC units running.
Yeah. And I think another big project, a lot of times people don't think about our food service programs, but we've got a lot of quality equipment upgrades going on. And a really big project at the Lugoff-Elgin High School Annex. We actually started over with that kitchen, and it's a full remodel over there. And so, we run 2 cafeterias at Lugoff-Elgin High School.
I didn't know.
On 2 different sites. So this just brings the second cafeteria up to the same standards and level that our other cafeterias are in the county.
To the standards. And one thing that I do want to mention, and I think is wonderful, is the summer food program. I shared a lot of information about that in May and early June, and I think sometimes the cafeteria and what those folks do is so important to kids having the nutrition that they need to then be able to learn.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you're starving, you can't. It's hard to think.
Definitely, we partner with United Way on the summer feeding program, and we do that, and we've actually expanded how we're doing that this year. But more importantly is the community eligibility for meals for breakfast and lunch that all of our students eat for free.
Really?
And we were able to re-up our contract with that for the next 4 years back in the spring. So, but all of our students eat at no cost, breakfast and lunch. And in some cases, we even feed dinner in some places.
How does that work if I'm a parent? I mean, is it just automatic? Do I have to fill out any paperwork or?
No paperwork, no nothing. All the children have to do is show up to eat.
And eat. Show up hungry.
And you're right. A child's not going to learn if they're hungry.
Right.
And if they're worried about, when they're going to be able to eat and those kinds of things. So we've really expanded. We've had great participation too. Misha Lawyer and her team.
They do a great job.
Have done an incredible job, not just of implementing community eligibility, but increasing the participation of our students across the district. And we've still got some room that we can still grow that, but that's what makes it a viable program.
That I just think that's wonderful. It's a wonderful service that's provided. And I can remember when my kids were in school, the whole making sure they had enough money in their lunch accounts and that sort of thing. So I just think that's a great achievement for students in Kershaw County School District. Speaking of student achievement, outside of keeping hungry bellies filled, student achievement is always a major focus for schools across South Carolina. What steps is the district taking this year to support academic success and help every student reach their full potential?
Well, I think that goes back to the implementation of the new standards in ELA and math. And then we'll be coming up on social studies, not this year, but next year. But I think making sure that we teach children the information that has been deemed as necessary by our state. Sometimes we like to teach certain topics, but they're really not reinforcing the standards the way they need to. So we've done a lot of work with our teachers to make sure that they understand unpacking those standards, so that they understand what needs to be taught and when it's appropriate to teach it, at what level it's appropriate to teach it.
Meaning grade
level
okay.
or maturation level. So we've done a lot of work in that area. We're proud of the progress that we've made. Progress is never quick enough.
Never.
We always want it to be faster, but slow and steady wins this race. Not a flash in the pan, kind of thing. We want to make sure that our kids continue to grow, and what we really want to see is cohorts of kids grow. In other words, when that child is in third grade, we want to see them as they go to fourth grade, they grow, and that group of kids then grows to fifth grade. We don't want to compare last year's third grade to this year's third grade, because classes are different and they have different strengths and weaknesses, and so we want to make sure it's there. And then the other thing that we've done that is focusing on student achievement is making sure that our special ed programs are aligned with what it takes for a student to be successful. We don't want special education to be in place of, we want it to be in support of. And so we've done a lot of that work. We've also tried to bring more of our special needs children within their geographic area. When I first came to the district, we were busing kids all over the district to get them the services that they needed. And what we're trying to do now is to make sure that the services are located geographically closer to the child, so that they're not on a bus
for hours.
So many hours. We want them in the classroom for hours.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's been an improvement that's greatly appreciated by families as well.
Well, and the children who had the most issue riding the bus a long time were the ones we were making ride the bus.
Doesn't make sense.
So we've really, that's been a focus for us. And John Clinton and his group in transportation, they're amazing. We've laid it out, this is what we want to do, and they figured out how to do it.
That's wonderful. So teacher recruitment and retention is challenging for all school districts, I know. How does Kershaw County School District work to attract, support, and retain high-quality educators?
Well, it's not a summer project. It's an all-year project. We're always recruiting for our next year's, the next school year's calendar. We've expanded our scope a little bit geographically. We're trying to reach people that are in reasonable area to come to our district. We have recruited some in the Midwest and Northeast in the past year. We also, though, I think the most important thing we are doing is trying to grow our own. We get someone who comes to us as a teacher assistant. They really like the work. They like what they're doing, helping them find ways to get fully certified so that they can teach. And if they go through a traditional program and need to do their student teaching, if they've been with us previously, then we continue their pay in the form of a stipend while they're doing that 12-week student teaching, which in the past, they had to take no pay, no benefits during those 12 weeks.
Right. And that's tough for somebody to do. And they're also at the lower end of the pay scale as far as
scale. A lot of times these are folks who have families that they're trying to provide for. So we're really trying to grow our own in a big respect. The other thing that Jody Kaler and Walter Jones and HR are doing is the support that we give teachers when they come. It's very informal, but do you have a place to live? Do you need us to help you find an apartment or a rental house or whatever? Making sure that the basic needs are met for teachers who are coming from out of the area. Sometimes it's a phone call to the right person that says, we found you a 2-room apartment that's actually within 2 miles of your school that you can live in, and making sure that they get settled. I think those things go a long way to retention. We try to create that family atmosphere, and like I say, Jody Kaler and Walter Jones, that's just one of their specialties. Our principals do the same thing, but any help that we can give from the district level, we try to give. And
I think I heard somewhere or read somewhere, people don't care what you know, or they don't care about whatever until they know you care about them. And I think that speaks to that, is when you take care of those folks, especially coming in from out of state or out of our area, they're unfamiliar with Kershaw County, and it really shows how much the district cares about them as an individual as well as an employee of the school district.
Yeah, there's some statistics out there that say if you keep an employee for 5 years, you've got them for the long term. And so making sure that we support those teachers in those first 5 years is really important to us. Making sure that we give them opportunities for continuing education, to that first recertification cycle, making sure they've got everything they need. It's that extra little touch that makes the difference in keeping a teacher.
I think that's just great. What role do parents and the broader community play in student access? How can families become more engaged with their schools in the upcoming year ahead? I know I've always thought of it as a synergy or a partnership between the school district and the family.
Sure. All of our schools have opportunities for parents to be actively involved to the level that they're able to. Some families can't do that because of work commitments and those kinds of things, but then other ones, if they want to get approved on the level 1, level 2 volunteer list, we'll put you to work in a minute. We're happy to find a spot that you fit, whether it be in maybe in some sort of a fundraiser, but then it also may be in the form of a mentor to students. We try to find those opportunities for families to be completely involved in the school. Again, it goes back sort of like the teachers that we were talking about. If the teachers are happy and feel supported, well, likewise, if the families feel like we're a partner in education, it's going to be a lot better experience for everybody. So we try to find ways to make that partnership work.
And if I'm a parent that wants to get involved at my particular school, do I speak to the principal? I mean, does that work differently at each school?
Principal is the main point of contact.
Okay.
And then if they have someone who coordinates those activities, they'll get the parent in touch with the right person. Then, we do have to be careful who works directly with our kids.
Of course.
We'll take care of, facilitating the background checks and those kinds of things that have to be done.
And that's another good thing for folks to know, is that a background check is required.
That is correct. And we do have different levels of volunteers, so there are different requirements of what has to be checked based on how directly you're working with students.
Okay. Looking ahead, what are you most excited about for the upcoming school year?
I think what I'm most excited about is the workforce that we've assembled together. Every year we seem to be able to take a step forward on the quality of our workforce. And that's not just teachers, but teachers are the driving point. We can do a whole lot in schools, but we can't do it without teachers. And we've done a really good job of recruiting and filling our teacher positions with quality individuals who, we're starting to see that they've been here 3 and 4 years and they're really invested in what we're doing. So I think that's what I'm most excited about is the quality that our principals have been able to recruit and then retain. And it's making a difference in everything that we do. The other thing that makes me excited is that we have a great community that supports what we do in the school district. We constantly see, and sometimes it's not under the best of circumstances, but we see the way the community rallies around our school district and takes care of our families. In an organization as large as ours is, some tragic things are going to happen during the year, and we certainly don't want those things to happen. But the support that the community is able to give when we do have to go through those harder times is really appreciated, and we do not take that for granted.
I've always said we're very blessed in Kershaw County to have the sense of community. I grew up, my dad was career Navy, so I've lived in many different places, large and small, but I chose Kershaw County for that very thing that you're talking about, is that this community really rallies when there's a time of need, whatever that situation looks like. And I definitely feel that's very true about the Kershaw County School District.
Yeah, we haven't lost the hometown feel. And we have distinct communities in Kershaw County, but we have distinct communities, which means that they care about what goes on in their community. And they're also welcoming, though, to new families from outside who come to be part of that community feel, and they are able to assemble themselves into the lifestyle of our different regions of our county.
I totally agree. As far as a wrapping up, what information do parents need to know about getting their children registered? I'm seeing a lot of back to school events. I think we already had some this past weekend popping up. Or is there any other information that you'd like to share from the district level as we prepare for the back to school?
Well, obviously our information for online registration is out there, and we would encourage folks to take advantage of that. If you're having any trouble with that, the schools also have days designated where they'll have help sessions if you're having difficulty with getting online registered. But getting that out of the way and getting that set up is a real key to starting the school year. Your child being ready to start on time, make sure they've got class assignments, those kinds of things.
When does online registration open up? Is it the 6th, I think? I'll have to look. We can Google it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
We'll have to look at that, but we do open right after July 1st, and July 1st is our New Year day in the school district. So, but we keep that window open so that we can get folks registered, because, again, making sure that a child is registered and ready to start on the first day on July 30th is really important to getting just a good feel for the start of the school year. The other thing it helps us with, if we have a move in some populations, it allows us to adjust staffing and to make sure that we don't have to change staffing 2 weeks into the school year. We'd much rather do that
going in
than after we start.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for all that you do for Kershaw County School District, Dr. Goodwin. I know it's so wonderful to have you here as our superintendent, because you are a product of Kershaw County, as I understand.
Yeah, I definitely am a product of Kershaw County. I started first grade here, went all the way through high school and graduated, and then I was fortunate to come back here to start my teaching career. That's been a long, long time ago now, but it means more to me than some of the places I've worked, because it is home.
Right.
And I have family here. I have family that's been involved in the school district for well over 60 years. So it means more to me to see the success. And that's a neat thing about Kershaw County is it's not just me that's in that situation. We have
right.
a large number of our employees who are not just tenured themselves, but come from tenured families that gave to the educational system here and now want to give back.
Well, I hope that you have just a fantastic start to the 2026-27 school year, and I'm excited to see everything that goes on, and we'll be covering you in the Kershaw County Current throughout the school year as we have special events and different things. So I appreciate your time today, and if there's nothing else you'd like to add?
Nope, that's all.
Okay.
Hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much. I hope you do as well.